Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Speed Feed. We are on episode number 9 on this live show. My name is Kimani Mbogo, and you know how we do it. Every weekday afternoon, we come here, we talk about trending stories, trending topics, and the news that's happening around you that you need to know. All right, we have so much to cover today. A lot has happened in the last 24 hours since our last broadcast. Since we come here, do it at 2 p.m. Yeah, between 2 p.m. yesterday and 2 p.m. today, there's a lot that has happened, and we need to get covering all of it. Let's get into today's Speed Feed. You can follow me right here, and you can see everything that's coming up. So yeah, we don't hit you with a surprise. All right, let's get into today's stories. We start with a video that's going viral of a rogue matatu driver. This rogue matatu driver who went to fuel at a petrol station and sped off without paying, and you can see the attendant there who was trying to follow him, the matatu driver, and he almost got ran over. Now, this has angered a lot of Kenyans. It's an undated video. We don't know where it came from, but Kenyans are calling for NTSA to investigate the incident and have the driver of this matatu arrested, because that was quite dangerous at a petrol station. You guys might remember a similar incident happened in about 2019 in Kasarani that saw a whole petrol station burnt down. And this video is going viral and has angered a lot of people. Now, on to the next story on Speed Feed. A Nairobi politician and former candidate for Kamukunji, Ibrahim Johnny Ahmed, died this morning. The ODM party mourned him and highlighted that he had been battling kidney problems for years, and friends and family also confirmed that they held prayers at the South Sea Mosque, and his burial was followed soon after, according to Muslim traditions, and condolences to his friends and family. Now, another story, this happened yesterday afternoon, just when we were live. President Uhuru Kenyatta was opened a 4 billion weapons manufacturing facility in Ruiru. And so we are going to be manufacturing guns. And you can see there Fred Matiang'i and the president holding guns that are manufactured here in Kenya. So the facility is expected to be producing at least 12,000 guns a year, and is expected to reduce the government's dependence on imported weapon machinery by about 60%. So it's also expected to employ 100 people directly and over 1,000 people indirectly, through suppliers. Now, in other news, on politics, the Deputy President William Ruto is reported to have met Kakamega Governor and ODM Deputy Party Leader Wycliffe Oparanya yesterday, and this has, started eliciting a lot of reactions from Kenyans who were hinting at something. So, a coalition. But Ruto was accompanied by former sports CS Rashid Chesa and former agriculture CS Mwangi Kinjuri. And Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya hinted that the DP wanted them to form an alliance, which has raised the possibility of an ODM-UDA alliance in 2022. Yeah, we had to know much about that. I have another update about Raila Odinga, but that's coming later from ODM. But meanwhile, so I know a lot of you are still trying to recover from the IMF, the whole IMF story, and a lot of videos are trending, including one guy who tried to call the IMF customer service to stop them from loaning Kenya. So Treasury is said to be in talks with the World Bank to secure another 82 billion shillings loan that, according to Treasury CS Ukur Yatani, is expected to help the country cover its budget deficit. So the negotiations for the loan are said to be at an advanced stage, and the funds could be dispersed to Kenya beginning June. So this comes in the backlash, or of the backdrop of the backlash from Kenyans over the IMF 257 billion loan that saw a lot of Kenyans even trying to petition the IMF to stop lending the government. Yeah, and so we are still borrowing, and there's a lot of conversation around our borrowing habits as a country, and still we're trying to get a lot of people have been complaining that the country is borrowing so much, and there was an interesting comment from Mutahi Nguni, who said that Kenyans are questioning the government over borrowing while they also borrow so much internally. But anyway, moving on to the next story on the feed today. And by the way, we are live on Facebook and YouTube, so you can leave us a comment as you watch us here on Speed Feed. We're talking about news and other stories that are trending that you need to know. So this is a news item from Homa Bay. So a teacher was arrested in Homa Bay over suspicions of being behind the leakage of some of the ongoing KCSE exams in 4 counties. So the teacher is said to be coordinating with someone from Nairobi who sends them examination material on the phone, and he's said to be circulating them in schools in Kisii, Nyamira, Homa Bay, and Migori. Remember, there was another incident of another principal who was circulating KCSE leakage, and now this teacher has been arrested. Still, a bit more news from the education sector. So, this is a funny story and a sad one at the same time. So, a KCSE student in Kiambu, so he's reported to have ran away from school and vandalized a police vehicle in the process. Okay, I don't know how to classify this. Is it panic, or was it just was it just a case of mental illness? Because the student is said to have gotten confrontational with an examination officer who questioned him for not having a face mask. So he came to the exam room late and he was not wearing a mask. And when he was confronted about it, he got rowdy and started running away. And in the process of running away, he threw stones and vandalized a police vehicle. Talk about looking for trouble, yeah? And speaking of trouble being caused by high school students, or high school students basically misbehaving, so 4 boys from Anesta Boys Secondary in Lanet were arrested after sneaking into a girls' dormitory, in a girls' school dormitory. Yeah, so the police are said to have been alerted by screams coming from the girls' school. It's called Anesta Precious Girls Secondary School. And when they arrived at the scene, they were forced to fire into the air, or fire shots into the air to disperse the boys who had gotten rowdy inside the school's, the girls' school's dormitory. It is not known what they were doing in the girls' school dormitory. Well, a bit of cheeky things happening with students in high school. But this next one is a sad one because a 15-year-old girl from Nyamira who recently sat for her KCPE is reported to have committed suicide on Wednesday this week. And the family says they found her body hanging in a store on a sisal rope and no suicide note was found. On to other things that are happening, and I'm going to be checking out your comments after this. Former Kibwezi MP Kalembe Ndile is seeking to replace Isaac Mwaura as the Jubilee Party's representative in Parliament for people living with disabilities. So he has based his request on the fact that he was involved in a road accident in 2017, which left his right thigh broken. And he says he is now a member of the Disability Society of Kenya, and he is best suited to replace Isaac Mwaura. Now, yeah, shall I look at your comments? Yeah, I know most of you are here and we are live, so there's absolutely no reason why I shouldn't be reading your comments, and we are live and we are also on social media, so why not? And you can leave me a comment and let me know what you think about some of these stories. Yes, our usuals are here. I see Jay, I see Dan come up. Oh yeah, so many of you. Voke is back, Titus TKK Kiplagat is here, Brian is here, Kelvin is also here. Titus is saying tumefulizwa kila mahali. Jay is here, is saying, why isn't the government borrowing from Tala? Support local talent. Antonio Alonso says, lakini hii loan imenipea nguvu ya kukosa kulipa Tala na M-Shwari mapema. Siko solo. Pia gava inakopa. And it's reported that the country has actually asked for debt forgiveness today. Yeah, that story is on Kenyans.co.ke. Check it out. It's one of our top stories right now. And Mr. Dam is saying, another loan, will the country survive? Voke is here. It's just natugotea tu. Brian is asking 250 billion na 82 billion ya kutoa. 250 billion or 82 billion. Yeah, the story about the loan has elicited a lot of reaction. And Larry is saying, nimeamini hii Kenya imeuziwa Chinese kweli. All properties upside down. And Antonio is following up, he's saying mazehi gava itakuonesha mambo siadi hao wafulize deni. Kelvin is saying Kalembe Ndile alienda wapi? Yeah, now you know he suffered an accident in 2017 that left his right thigh broken, and now he's asking to replace Isaac Mwaura as the representative from Jubilee in Parliament for people living with disabilities. Right? Let's continue. And in case you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Yeah, and leave us a comment as well. I'm gonna be checking my YouTube people after this. Now, let's move on now to other stories. Now, this is Kenya, and I'm not surprised by this, but so even before the Nairobi Green Park terminus is officially launched, there are some cons who have been trying to sell spaces in the various terminus to various matatu circles in Nairobi. So they're claiming to be able to allocate spaces in the terminus for circles. You know how matatus operate. So officials from NMS addressed the issue and said that no matatu circle will own space in the terminus, and they said that they will be running and operating the terminus and will only allow matatus a limited amount of time at the picking and dropping points within the terminus. So it is not going to be like in other places within the CBD where a specific circles own a particular place in the CBD where they pick up and drop passengers. Yeah, so basically ni wase wanajaribu kuuza stage za matatu at Green Park, and NMS has said that ain't gonna happen. Now, to other stories, the Federation of Kenya Healthcare Professionals Associations, and this is a union that represents over 150,000 healthcare professionals. So they came out yesterday to reject proposals in the Health Laws Amendment Bill of 2021. So this amendment has suggested locking out healthcare professionals from the management of health in the country. And they say that this decision, the effect of this will be that decisions made at the top management level of healthcare in the country will not have the input of medical professionals. So basically they're saying that doctors, nurses, and other health professionals are not allowed to be in management positions in healthcare. And they're saying that this will lead to decisions being made at the top management level without the input of medical professionals, and which could expose Kenyans to harmful practices, you know, because it's not always that people who do not practice that they might do other things, you know, like profiteering from the whole thing. I have an update, by the way. This next one is about management of healthcare and how Kenyans are questioning it. All right. So yesterday, highlighted this on yesterday's feed, the Ministry of Health addressed the issue of shortage of oxygen in the country, and they went in a series of tweets and they said that the Ministry of Health had formed an Oxygen Taskforce that is mandated to address the issue. Now, this has attracted a lot of mixed reactions from Kenyans who questioned the decision to form another task force to take care of health. There are already so many task forces in place, including the COVID-19 response committee. Now, let me read some of the comments that were coming from, because this Oxygen Task Force had been trending for a very long time yesterday, and let's see. Let me read you some of the comments that are coming from, what Kenyans were saying on the Oxygen Task Force, which elicited a lot of reactions. And let's see about some of them. Let's check out this, what Kenyans were saying. And Oxygen Task Force, it's your time to shine. You know, people are, reacting to that, and others are posting how Oxygen Task Force will eat public funds tenor, and the Oxygen Task Force emergency meeting. And someone else was asking, what exactly is the Oxygen Task Force supposed to achieve, and how? Someone else asked, they have set up an Oxygen Task Force. Ridiculous. These are I'm just reading some of the random comments on the Oxygen Task Force. You might have seen this trending, or you probably didn't know it was trending. The Oxygen Task Force, it was actually from a tweet from the Ministry of Health, who updated that there is an Oxygen Task Force to deal with the issue of shortage of oxygen in the country. Now, soon another update on the feed on vaccines. So, after the ban of importation of vaccines by the private sector, now this consequently restricted the use of the Russian Sputnik 5 vaccine. And now it is reported that the remaining doses of the vaccine will be shipped out to other countries. Yeah, they're not going to go to waste. So, 527 people had already been vaccinated, and they will be scheduled to receive the second dose. And this won't stop them. So, only 527 doses will be given, and then the rest they're going to be sold to other countries. Right now, another update for motorists in central Kenya who need to do vehicle inspections with NTSA. This is important to especially taxi drivers who use taxi hailing cabs. So NTSA announced that they have opened a new motor vehicle inspection unit in Murang'a for motorists who cannot access the Thika and Nairobi inspection centers because of the travel restrictions because of COVID. Now, the station is located at, if you live in Murang'a, this is important, the Ministry of Transport yard. This is a yard owned by the Ministry of Transport along the Murang'a-Sagana Highway, and this is next to Hui Petrol Station. So it will only be opened once a week once a week on Friday for vehicle inspection. So in case you're watching us from Murang'a and you've been locked out of Nairobi, so you can't go get your vehicle checked at Thika or at the industrial area inspection units, you know where to go next. This next story is funny and tragic, sad at the same time. So, 2 police officers were arraigned in court yesterday with impersonation charges laid against them. This is really funny. So, the 2 officers, they are ex-police officers who are seeking to be reinstated. So, they're said to have impersonated Kisii Governor James Ongwae in an incident where one of the police officers, one of the ex-police officers called the Deputy Inspector General's office claiming to be Kisii Governor James Ongwae, and he asked to be reinstated. Right? Get the twist here. So the 2 were booked for a meeting with the Deputy Inspector General's office, and when the office of the DIG did a background check on the number that was used to call, claiming it was Governor James Ongwae's, it was found to be registered in the name of one of the ex-police officers who was there. So it's like you call your okay, you get the story. So it's funny. I don't know why I find it funny at the same time. They impersonated a governor. It's just going to tell you how ridiculous Kenya gets sometimes. So you call pretending to be someone top in the government, asking to have them give you your job back. You know, it's a smart trick, but they got caught because it's easy as going on Truecaller. Right? And that's what I'm presuming. Like the office of the DIG didn't even have to go very far. It's just getting on Truecaller and searching the number. And then you find out it's not James Ongwae, it's actually the guy who's in your office. So the 2 were released on bail, but they were asked to cooperate with the police to do the investigations. And they're probably going to do something, but we're going to follow up on this case. Anyway. This for Kitengela people. Kenya Railways launched a train service to Kitengela, which means if you live on those sides going all the way to Lukanya, you can escape the hectic Mombasa Road traffic. Now Kenya Railways says that it will cost you about 100 shillings from CBD to Kitengela or the other way around. So the morning train will be leaving at 5:45 a.m. and it will stop at Kitengela, Adiriva, Mlolongo, and Makadara on its way to the CBD. It's expected to arrive in CBD at 7:45 a.m. So if you leave Lukaya at 5:45 a.m., you'll be in the CBD by 7:45 a.m. Yeah, some good news for you. It takes longer on Mombasa Road, especially right now that the expressway is being built. I don't even want to imagine what people on Mombasa Road go through. This is the update I promised you about Raila Odinga. So, Siaya Senator James Orengo addressed the issue of Raila being ODM's candidate for 2022 presidential race, and so this is because earlier, and remember we did this, but then ODM declared that the fact that they said Raila had submitted his papers declaring his interest to run in 2022 was a full-stay hoax. So he spoke in an interview and stated that the party could not forcefully put Raila on the ticket if he had no intention of running in 2022. Now, which has again cast doubt and confusion on whether Raila Odinga is still in the presidential race. Is he in? Is he out? Or maybe is he keeping all of us guessing? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But meanwhile, James Orengo says, we ain't not gonna force him to be in the ballot. If he don't want, it's up to him. Now, I bet you probably did not know that there was a committee in this country called the Power of Mercy Advisory Committee. What does it do? Tell you in a bit. So, in a move to decongest prisons in Kenya, the Power of Mercy Advisory Committee is looking to adopt a proposal to have long-term prisoners with noticeable change of conduct complete their sentences at home. So the committee's secretary says that allowing some prisoners to complete their sentences at home would ease the budgetary constraints on the country. You know, the country has a lot of budget issues because of the money that goes to fund prisons. And so they are suggesting that some of the long-term prisoners who show a change in behavior can be allowed to complete their sentences at home. So the Power of Mercy Committee is a committee that decides who should be freed, prisoners that should be freed, or prisoners who should be shown mercy and be released. You know, that you probably did not know there was a committee for that. Yeah. So here's an update for you and all LinkedIn users. So LinkedIn has confirmed that data stolen from 500 million users is available for sale now at a popular website with hackers. Now, the information was stolen from users, and this information includes email addresses, names, and phone numbers. And well, the data may not be as sensitive as your credit card information for those of you who shop online, but still, your phone number being out there with hackers, it could still be exploited. And LinkedIn has, however, not confirmed if it will inform users whose data was stolen. I personally feel like this probably should be a law, that social media companies who experience data breaches should inform you if your data has been stolen. Now, in a separate incident though, data stolen from over 500 million Facebook users in 2019 was also listed for sale on a website popular with hackers. So we're living in the digital age, and data is officially more expensive than gold. It has more value than gold. People having your information, having your digital persona, knowing all the websites you have been to, your searches, all of this information is used to target you, and bring and curate content that is, supposed to influence your thoughts and your behavior. So it's not just, leaving your email. It tracks you online. Right, that's all we had on the speed feed today. But before I end, I want to read some of your comments. I know some of you are, talking in the comment section about some of the stories that we're talking about today. Let me know your thoughts before we close this today's speed feed officially. Now we'll be back on Monday though. Over the weekend, we're not going to be here over the weekend, but we'll be back on Monday. Monday to Friday. Yeah, we can talk about news over the weekend, but go to Kenyans.co.ke. We always have news around the clock. Let me see some of your comments. Kelvin is also talking about the Oxygen Taskforce. Ile mambo inaendelea hii Kenya. Dam is also talking about the oxygen I know is when guys used to cheat in exams. Now they'll be stealing that IMF loan. Let's check out some other comments here. Someone says plant trees. I think it's in response to the Oxygen Taskforce. Probably saying that the Oxygen Taskforce is gonna plant trees to create more oxygen. Is that why? Who has seen the Mbezi terminus in TZ? It makes Green Park look like a Kibandansky. Oh yeah, there's some photos from just Google them. Mbezi terminus in Tanzania. And yeah, it's one of the terminals in TZ, and it looks amazing. Probably more than our green park here in Nairobi. Now Waringa is asking, hii terminus ikifunguliwa itanyakuliwa tu na cartels, hii Kanairo bwana. And someone else is saying, if SACCOs won't have a specific place, hivyo ndo mtu wa Thika Road atakuwa anajipata Kitengela juu mahali alipanda metro. Juu mahali alipandia metro jana, leo kuna mati ingine. Oh yeah, that's what I cause, it's understandable. That's what I cause a bit of confusion, you know. Because if you're so used to going to a specific stage, and at the Green Park there are no particular designated stages for SACCOs, you might be confused. But in the same breath, it's the Green Park is supposed to be used by matatus that use Langata Road and Gong Road, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem. And someone else saying, guess ODM's 2022 presidential candidate. Yeah, can we make a guess? Can we really make a guess? Who is it gonna be? Who's gonna be ODM's presidential candidate for 2022? I'm gonna leave you to answer that. All right, see you again tomorrow. See you on Monday with Speed Feed. My name is Kimani Bogo. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Don't breaking news. Prince Philip has died. Just
oh.
Sweet. That's great. Oh, shucks.
And just before we end the Speed Feed, just being informed about breaking news that Prince Philip is dead. Yeah, that's just news coming in right now. So now because we are live right now, let's check out the latest news on that, the confirmation. Yes, Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, has died today. Yeah, so that's the latest. And I'm just trying to look at the tweets to see what's the latest on this update. Yeah, it is being confirmed that, yes, indeed, Prince Philip has died. The royal family official account on Twitter, yes, I've gotten this. This is a statement from them. It is saying, it is with deep sorrow that Her Majesty the Queen has announced the death of her beloved husband, His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. His Royal Highness passed away peacefully this morning at Windsor Castle. And this is coming just a few minutes ago. And yeah, there's also a link to the full statement from the royal family. So that's the latest on Speed Feed. Yeah. And that is the Speed Feed for today. This Friday, this 9th of April. We'll see you again on Monday on our 10th episode. Let's keep doing this, guys. Don't forget, every weekday at 2 p.m., we're here live talking about trending topics and trending news and everything that you need to know that's happening around you. My name is Kimani. Goodbye.
That was breaking news.